He is also slated immediately after the inauguration to immediately go back to the White House and start signing executive orders. That will either happen at the White House, it could happen at the Capitol. There was some talk that he might even do it at the arena in front of a crowd. Just bring the executive orders right in and sign them. It could be up to 200 executive orders signed by the President of the United States. Now, listen, as a constitutionalist, I got to tell you, I am not a huge fan of executive orders. I will say that we are now a government, unfortunately, run by executive order. Joe Biden ran the government by executive order. Donald Trump is going to have to reverse many of the worst actions of the Biden administration that were taken via the executive branch, ending around the legislative branch. Today, he is slated to sign some 200 executive orders. And those executive orders are going to range from energy to DEI in the government. He released one of the executive orders yesterday to the Free Press, to my friend Barry Weiss's Free Press, setting out a government-wide standard on the biological reality of two sexes, clearly defining male and female, which, of course, that's such a dunk. It's such a dunk because the reality is that this is the single most polarizing and stupid issue that Democrats decided to choose during the last several election cycles. The idea that boys can become girls and that minor boys should be allowed to transition into minor girls. They should be given hormones and they should be given surgery. Like, all of that was such a bad sell for the Democrats that it all fell apart for them electorally. President Trump on day one is saying we are done with all of this. According to the Free Press, the executive order is to say that all radical gender ideology guidance, communication policies, and forms are removed from the federal government. Agencies will cease pretending that men can be women and women can be men when enforcing laws that protect against sex discrimination. I mean, that is very, very strong language there, the kind of language that is true and of which I strongly approve. I've been using precisely that language probably for a decade at this point, longer than a decade, actually. .com/Shapiro. Once again, oracle.com/Shapiro. Go check them out right now. Offer ends March 31st. Oracle will cut your current cloud bill in half if you move on over to OCI for new U.S. customers with minimum financial commitment. According to Politico, the executive orders are going to cover everything from immigration to energy. According to Politico, Trump is eager to use week one to show his supporters he's making good on his signature issue of immigration. He's unlikely to fulfill some of the biggest and most aggressive day one promises like large-scale deportation. We'll get to that in a moment. There will indeed be deportation efforts made this week. He is also expected to forge ahead with directing agencies to begin the process of restoring Remain in Mexico. That, of course, was one of the most important policies that was enacted during the Trump administration that says that if you show up at our border and you want to get in, you have to remain in Mexico while we process your application. Why is that important? Well, because the way that it had been working under Joe Biden, you came, you said the magic words, I'm claiming asylum from my home country because I am in fear for my life. They would immediately take you, process you, give you a date to come back to court and release you into the country where you would just disappear.